Welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast. On today's episode, I have Jessica from interiorsbyjessica.ca.
Yes.
Yes. And she is an interior designer that has a design school where she helps, organizers, homeowners, anyone that needs help with the basics of how to make your home look good, how to do interior design on a more simplified level and not make it so complicated. And so thank you, Jessica, for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Samantha. Thanks for having me. It's an honor, first of all, an honor to be here.
Thank you. And then, so tell us a little bit just about you, what you have going on, and then we'll get into the episode.
Oh, well, I'm in Canada, hence the .ca. I'm an interior designer, like you mentioned. That's what I started doing right after high school. I went into school to get my certification as an interior designer. I was in and out of the business for some time as I had kids. I did something that was a little bit easier for my family. And then after our kids were grown up, I started back again into interior design. I had to go through a lot of mindset shifts myself, which I'd like to share with you later on. As a older woman going back into a career, was I relevant? Was I not? Anyways, I'll tell you all about it later. So after a few years working on myself, I opened up a design school and I love it. I think it will help anyone who wants to stay within a budget and avoid the regrets that a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they say they have. They're like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have bought this. I wish I would have chosen this first. So anyways, I have a process. I call it the threefold design map because it's three very clear, concise steps. And I just want people to know that they don't have to wait until they have it all figured out to have a beautiful home. They can work it in steps and can do it without regrets when there is a process.
Yeah, which is super important because anyone that listens to me knows I'm in the process of moving, and it is so overwhelming when you're trying to figure out, okay, like, what am I even taking with me? Because I'm a completely different person now than I was 10 years ago when we moved into this home. And I'm of the mindset that I want my home to reflect who I am now, not just bring everything with me because I already own it. And so I'm at this place where, like, I'm looking at things and it's amazing, the things are beautiful, but then you get to that place of like, well, how do I make it match? Or how do I, there's so many things that go into the interior design aspect of things. And so I love that you're helping people understand it on a simplified level with some steps.
And I'm really glad you're bringing this up because sometimes we can, and I'm going to be very honest with you, when I'm researching about podcasts and videos and where to talk, a lot of people want, or it seems like the most popular podcasts are about business and money making and health, like those kind of two related. And sometimes it would feel, well, talking about rooms and colors and pillows might be frivolous. But the actual reality is that our homes, our physical spaces, whether it's at school, our home, at work, affect our mood and will make us be more productive or more at ease or relaxed. It's just funny how we see our homes as something materialistic, but in reality, it's so connected to our emotions. So I'm going on this quest of the self-care home where that's what our home should be. They should be taking care of us, not become a chore for us. But to get there, it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I love that too, because I am of the mindset, and I teach all the time to the women I'm helping to start their businesses, is that, when you walk into someone's home and you're helping them to declutter and stuff, you've got to realize whatever is going on in the home is actually also a lot of what's going on for them emotionally. And it a lot of times reflects, and exactly what you just said, it is so connected, our outer space and our inner, like what's going on for us on the inside. And so, I absolutely love this. And So today you wanted to talk, and we wanted to talk for the listeners about some mindset shifts and some different things, which, like you said, you would share a little bit with us, but not just for the business owner, but then also we wanted to chat about making it for our clients as well. And, just some different mindset shifts that we need to have, which I think is huge, because we can't change or do anything different until we shift the mindset that we have about that thing.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to give your listeners 3 mindset shifts that their clients should have, during the process of organizing and after everything is organized. And then I'd like to share some of the ones I had to go through as a business owner. So let me share my screen first. And this is kind of what I tell everyone, make it pretty after. So this is a quote. This is exactly what we were talking about. This is from Newport Institute. Whether you're living in a city or the country, at home, with your family, with roommates, in a new apartment building, an old farmhouse, and I'm going to add whether you're renting or you own the home, your immediate environment influences you and your state of mind. And I know that your listeners as organizers, you are fully aware of this. So I'm an organizer at heart. Let me just say that. So these are the 3 mindset shifts that I like to speak about. 1, an inspiring home is perfect and beautiful. Number 2, go big or go home. And number 3, I have to wait until my kids are out of the home to have the home I want. So let's go to the first one. And if you want to stop me or ask me anything, feel free. So the one is big, that we think that for our homes to be inspiring, they should be perfect. And the truth is that first of all, there are no perfect homes. I have 5 kids. My baby's 19, but I'm fully aware of, stepping on Legos, finding shoes at the entrance. As they grow up, then it's backpacks, cables, video games, clothes. So I'm fully aware of that. And yet there's something that happens when you love your house, then even when you see those things on the floor, or maybe your kitchen island is full of papers and homework, it still inspires you. So how can we merge the two? How can that even happen? And second, beautiful means different to all of us. What's beautiful to me may not be beautiful to you. What's inspiring to me may be completely different to you or anybody else. So I want to introduce to your listeners what constitutes an inspiring home, because this is a big one. A lot of people, when I go visit their homes, they tell me, my home is not inspiring. I just keep hearing that word. They use the word welcoming, they use the word beautiful, but a lot of them use this one. So I've come up with these 4 different, call it pillars or walls. And I use the 4 because it's our 4 walls, right? One is your home to be inspiring should match your UDZ, which is your unique design code, not somebody else's style, not the furniture store's, trending furniture or the influencer's choice of furniture or style. So number 1, it should match your style. And this is not in order of priority. This is just the way I just put it. So it should match your style or your unique design code. Number 2, it should support your lifestyle. And by that, I mean, we all have a different way of living. We all cook different, get dressed different, entertain different, etc. So your house should support that lifestyle. It should support or enhance the vision you have for your life at home. And we all come into our homes with different kind of vision. Oh, when I own a home, I'm going to do this or this or that. Or I will never do X, Y, and Z when I own my own home. So that life vision that we all come into our homes with, our home environment should enhance it. And then it also should fit the space. It's very obvious to say it should fit the space, but when people are buying furniture, even baskets for organizing, I'm sure you've seen this. They buy the baskets and they don't fit. They don't fit the shelves, or they don't fit what they wanted to work with. Let me just quit this quickly there. And then then they are going to regret. So these 4 different pillars or walls is what will constitute the inspiring home, not the perfect home. So how can an organizer help their homeowners make that mindset shift? I think it takes time. It's the coaching like you talk about, but I think if they can speak about these things, if they can let them know that it's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it can be inspiring when you surround yourself with things that inspire you. Like, let's look up in our wall. So I would encourage your organizers to help their clients, their homeowners, just look up and hang things that are inspiring to them. Use colors around that are inspiring. Choose one thing they can put on a coffee table or on a bookshelf that it's inspiring. And you are dealing with the organization and the chaos. Sometimes that chaos comes back, but the home will remain inspiring if they can work around all these 4.
Yeah,
There's a lot to talk.
Yeah, I love that. So real quick, what's coming up for me first is the space side of it. So we deal with all the time having to talk to our clients about, you only have so much space. So if you have too many items in that space, it doesn't matter how much we quote unquote organize it if we don't declutter first. And
Yes.
in that same, talking about the inspiring piece, I love that because I always try to, help my clients realize the more you can release, the more value all of a sudden the things you have kept have. So like, if you have 50, things that your kid made when they were little, okay, great, but all 50 only have a small percentage of value. But if you go through and pick out your favorites and they inspire you, then all of us, and we go ahead and release the others or take photos of the others or just put them in a bin somewhere. All of a sudden, the ones you've picked that are your favorites, they inspire you. They all of a sudden have more value because they're the only ones in that space compared to having 50 all over the place.
I love that. Yeah. And I love when homeowners use what their kids have made on their walls. I think it's a win-win for the child because now all of a sudden they feel proud. They're like, oh, my mom loves what I did, what I made. And then you're creating this space that is personal to you. So I love that. And yes, for space, actually, I have a photo here. Let me just, this is my analogy of the movie set. So when we have a space, I tell my clients, like, bring in the protagonist first, which would be the couch in the living room, the dining set in a dining room, a bed in the bedroom, and a desk and a chair in an office. Those are the protagonists. And then you bring in the supporting role actors, like the coffee table, the dresser, the cabinet, the stool, and then the extras, which would be, like the nesting table or the drapes or the accessories. But we got to start with the protagonist first. This is a very clear example of what you just said. So client had all this kind of furniture and couches. So these chairs are facing the TV, and on that back wall is the office. And simple change. We moved the TV that was, if you can see it, it was on this wall. We moved it here where the black TV couch is. And we switched the black TV here and all the office to this side. And all of a sudden, she hasn't changed anything. She didn't add color. She didn't add new pillows, nothing. And that's what she said me. It feels so much better. We now want to spend more time here. And it's the thing is that an inspiring home has nothing to do with the price tag and nothing to do with a particular style, and everything to do with these 4 pillars that I mentioned. So I would encourage your organizers to help their clients see that it needs to be personal.
Yeah. And real quick, 2 things. One is if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you go over to watch the actual video. at youtube.com/@professionalorganizerscoaching. And or the links will be in the show notes below. And then that way you can actually see what she's talking about, because she has a slide that is very helpful. And especially if you want to learn more and see exactly as we were talking. But of course, I also wanted to put this on the podcast so you could get value from hearing it. The other question I had real quick, the UDC. Now, I'm sure as a designer, you're familiar with that. As an organizer, I have no idea what that is. So what is that?
It's your unique design code. And that's just, sorry, that's my terminology. I should have explained a little bit more about that. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm a minimalist, or I'm into boho, or I'm into glam. What does that even mean? I was actually, real story, I was at a store, huge store, and the owner was telling me, yeah, our style is like boho. And I'm looking around, and to me, Jessica, boho has a lot of plants and textures and more like the orangey earth tones and patterns. And it read nothing to me like boho. To me, it read more like organic modern farmhouse, like Shia McGee, like if you're aware, know about her. But and then the other partner said to me, yeah, we're a lot into Shia McGee. And I'm like, yeah, you are. But anyway, the point is that names of styles really are useless. You gotta go for how rooms feel to you. And your unique design code will have your colors, your patterns, the amount of things you have in a room or not, the type of artwork on your walls, the amount of plants. I could go on and on about the UDC. But if to put it in simple terms, it's the style, your style.
Gotcha.
Your
Perfect.
style, your lifestyle, your life vision, and your space. So yeah, that would be the first mindset shift that I would encourage organizers to do or promote, is to help clients know that an inspiring home does not have to be perfect. It will never be perfect.
There's no such thing as a perfect home.
Listen, but it can be inspiring.
Yes, very much so. I love that mindset shift.
Yeah. The next one is the go big or go home mentality. It's the one where, and I see it so often in homeowners, where they say, well, I'm not going to put anything on my walls yet until I know what I want to have, and I have the perfect frames and the perfect photos taken. And I'm just not going to do anything. Or even for like us designers, I would go like, well, I want to change my cabinets, but if I change the cabinets, I might as well change the floors, and I should have new appliances, and maybe I should paint too. And then, but I'm not going to do it yet because I don't even know what color I want. So it's that kind of mentality. And as organizers, you're all very creative. And I would even add that we all have that perfectionist in us. And those two together, creative and perfectionist, will have this. I won't do it until it's perfect. But it happens with homeowners too. And I have an interesting story to share with you. I was visiting the home of a mom, very busy, 3 kids, 2 with disabilities, physical and mental disabilities. And you go into her home and it's very disorganized. There's clothes and shoes spilling out of the closet. There are dishes all over. There are boxes of clothes being, folded, and you don't even know if they're clean or not. The tables are packed with projects. But you open the drawers and they're perfectly stacked. Everything has a place. She knows where everything goes, like to the T. I saw her telling her daughter how to perfectly fold her jeans and her t-shirts and exactly what drawer. So she's a perfectionist. So it's very interesting because you would not think that a perfectionist has a disorganized home. But this is what she said to me. Because I'm a perfectionist and I can't control everything, I just let it go. But I can control my drawers and my closet. I guess she meant her closet upstairs. But it's a very interesting concept that we think that if it's not perfect, we just don't do it, because I want it to be just perfect. I want it to just have that perfect style. And there's so many homes that I go to that have been blank and blah and neutral for 2 years because they still don't have it figured out perfectly. So I would encourage, again, your organizers to help their clients address that. It doesn't have to be perfect. If they are perfectionists, they can just tackle one wall, one corner, and have that taste of design success that will help them tackle one more project and one, just steps at a time. But if they wait until everything is perfectly figured out, it's going to be 2 years, 3, 4, 5. And that's where we don't have inspiring homes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I teach that because, a lot of organizers, they like to do packages, which is great. But at the same time, for an already overwhelmed person, that's another overwhelming like thought or to have to make that decision, right? And so I'm of the mind frame, and I'm teaching and helping a lot of the organizers that I teach. Let's do it session by session. We'll take step by step, take the pressure off. And it's exactly what you said. Get them a small win first, even if it's just a few drawers, like whatever that win is. Then we'll step by step, we'll keep on going. And all of the stress all of a sudden goes away, but they know we're coming back for another session. And so then the stress can go away too, because they cannot even think about anything else inspiring or exciting if they're overwhelmed or in survival mode and barely making it through the day. But if they can start to feel these things that are taking the stress off of them, then they can start to get creative again or get inspired again and to get their space back.
Absolutely. It's interesting how you put it, because that is exactly what happens in the design decor realm. If you can just do one wall, one corner, one bookshelf, then you'll feel, okay, I can do one more. But it's that go big or go home mentality that keeps us from taking steps, because we think it's not going to be right. It's not going to be perfect. That is a big one that I see. Not just in homes, but in businesses, which is one of the ones I want to mention as we move along. And then the last one is the one about kids. And I know that you probably will agree with me. It's a big one. A lot of people, if not everyone, think that, I have kids, I can't have the type of home that I want. It's disorganized because I have kids. It's not the type of home that I want. It's because I have kids. And that's a mindset.
Yes.
It's not true.
Yeah.
So what I would say, again, look from the point of view of an organizer, is to mention it to your clients, first of all. Help them see that, yes, it is difficult to keep a home organized and perfect with little kids. Let's address it. It's not easy. I'm almost an empty nester, and my kitchen has never looked so clean. It's the truth. But I think that when we have kids, we need to set them up for success and provide the solutions. So always address those issues first and fix them first before making it pretty. We tend to think that style will solve it, that the pretty baskets will solve it, that, like I just need another bookshelf, I just need another cabinet, and that will solve it. But the truth is that it isn't. I go to homes and they tell me my entrance is not inspiring. The first thing I see is the clutter, the shoes and the books and the jackets, and they want to paint, and they want to have wallpaper and a new lamp, and I'm like, wait, we got to fix the issues first and then make it pretty. So I would encourage the organizers to suggest furniture that have double duties. For example, if you have living room with toys on the floor, then buy an ottoman with storage. If you have an entrance with jackets on the floor, perhaps those hangers for the kids are way too high and they just need to be brought at a different level. Or perhaps we need to install hooks that make it easier for kids to hang their things. So ditch the pretty, skinny glass gold entrance table and have, a more functional one with shelves for baskets. Or you're at the book at your living room and you have the bookshelves, but you have toys. And don't worry about having the candle in the photos and the books. Have baskets and trays for your kids. So anyways, the point is that kids do not have to be, or are not the reason why our homes are not inspiring. We just need to look for solutions for them that will set them up for success. And I have a bone to pick with magazines and catalogs. You know how fashion industry has created this perfect image of the woman's body?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the same thing furniture catalogs and furniture stores are doing for our homes. They're creating this perfect idea of, the night table with the lamp, the candles, and the books, or the lamp, the flowers, and the photos. That's not a reality.
Mm-mm.
A reality is that we are charging our phones. We may be looking at our laptop before we go to sleep. We may have a book and we take our jewelry off and put it on the table. So why are we trying to box our lifestyles within this frame that magazines are creating to sell us their thing? Mm-hmm. Let's provide solutions for us. In this case, we're talking kids, but it applies to everyone. Let's provide those solutions. Fabric could be performance fabric that cleans easily. Nowadays we have washable rugs. There are solutions to have that type of home, and kids are not the main reason. They just need to be set up for success. So those are the three mindsets that I think are the biggest ones that your organizers may encounter as they help homeowners.
Yeah. And honestly, I tell people all the time, like specifically my clients, because I still work in the homes with clients, and I tell them, leave your home as much as you can the way you're living in it day to day before I come. Because if you start cleaning it up and making it different before I get there, I'm not going to be able to help set you up for success, because I'm not going to realize, oh, all your jewelry is normally on the nightstand or whatever those little things are, because you've moved everything before I came for the consultation.
Smart.
And it's about meeting them where they are. And then exactly what you said, coming up with the solutions. It may take a little bit more time and back and forth talking with them, but in the long run, we're helping them. And that's the whole goal.
That's the whole goal. I really like how you said that. Yeah, I have never put it in those words, but yes, if clients start, putting everything away, how can you know that they use their nightstand for jewelry, to go with that same example? You would not. So yeah, it's very interesting how we want to portray this image that everything is perfect, but it is not. And it's perfect according to who?
Right.
Right. It's according to the Wayfair.
Yeah.
anyways, I can go on and on about this, but I know you want to talk also about mindset shifts for organizers in their business. Is this a good time, or did you want to?
Yeah, no,
okay.
let's hit it.
Perfect. I have it on a different slide. So let me bring it up again. And where is it? It's right here. So this one is, I'm going to speak from my own personal experience. And, some of this may or may not apply, but the number one that I dealt with it's again, the go big or go home. As a business owner, I'm a creative too. And I spent, the first few years, and I still fight it. Trust me when I say this, I still fight it, that it has to be perfect. And I keep it's like I have my coach here in my mind. You coaches, you're awesome. You're awesome, because it's like we always have your voice here, and you know what we're going through. So my coach will always say, what's the shortest way to get there? Because we have all this idea that oh, I'm going to launch this new service, and I'm going to have the landing page, and I'm going to have all the emails ready and my funnels, and I'm going to have maybe an upsell, and I'm going to make these posts and maybe do a webinar. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And then I don't do it because it's so overwhelming and it takes time. I have people in our coaching group, I've been there for a few years, that has still not finished or done some of the things that they should have done 3 years ago. Like, for example, choosing their niche, which I'm going to talk in a little bit, or coming up with a freebie to give, your clients so they subscribe to your list. They still haven't done it because they're still figuring it out. Oh, but what if I do this? Oh, no, I'm not sure. It just really doesn't matter. It's going to change.
Yes.
It's going to change. It's going to evolve. It's going to get better. But if we don't make that step, we'll never know what needs to be changed. We'll never know what can be better or what can be improved. We done is better than perfect. There's
Yeah.
so much learning in the doing. That's the first one.
It's so funny because that is my motto. That's the only way my business got built, is done is better than perfect.
Yes.
And on top of that, like, I'm constantly talking to people about how, if you are in analysis paralysis or you're stuck, take an action step. Like, that is what will conquer your fears, your analysis paralysis. Being stuck is some sort of action, and being willing to pivot. Like, okay, I may not get this right, but then I'm willing to pivot and to continue to learn. That is when you will have success in life and in business.
100%, 100%. And in my presentation here, I talk about worthy mistakes, and that's exactly where you're talking about too. They're the mistakes that you didn't learn anything from because you never took the step. But if you take the step and it didn't work, it was so worth it, because at least oh, okay, that is not the route. That's
Yeah.
not the path. For example, as an interior designer, you think, okay, who has my clients? And I would say, well, you know what? Realtors do. They have my client. When I first started, I reached out to them, several realtors. I even offer a free consultation for one of their clients. None of them took it. Say, oh, I have a client. Oh, I'll ask. None of them took it.
Mm-mm.
And then for several years, I've been kind of, feeling guilty. I should reach out to more realtors. I should reach out to more realtors. Finally, I did it 2 weeks ago. And then the realtor said, you know what? It really, any commission that you pay me, it's not substantial, because they have this huge real estate commission. So he was very honest when he appreciated. He said it's really not worth his time. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? How do I reach? And then my coach said, Jessica, realtors are not they don't have your clients. They have your clients, but that's not your path. Just find another strategy. And I'm like, duh. Yes, find another strategy. But if I hadn't taken that step and received that feedback, how would I have ever known? So we have to be willing to make mistakes, and we have to be willing to make worthy mistakes and be willing to hear the no's and the rejections. That's the only way we'll know that that's not the path. And let me find another one. But if we go back to the first one about go big or go home, and we take years to plan the perfect strategy to then find out that it didn't work, we wasted some precious 2-3 years in the thinking and perfecting something that wasn't going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
The last one is control what you can. And this is, again, this is from the perspective of selling. All of us are in this business. We're selling services, which will depend on somebody saying yes or no. We cannot control what they say. We cannot control them, putting down their credit card or saying yes, or, but we can control what we do. So if I measure my results based on somebody else's decisions or actions, I might feel very defeated if I have not sold anything. Maybe I set out to sell 100 spaces in design school and 2 bought. Then I would go like, oh boy, that was a complete failure. But why don't I switch it? And let's say, okay, what is it that I can control? I can control the amount of posts I do, how much money I spend on Facebook ads or whatever, how many people I talk to, and the list of things. I can control that. So I can measure success of what I can control, not what other people will decide to do or not. So this relates to everything in life. And I see you nodding because it's so true. We measure success based on, somebody else's, successes. And we have to measure and control what we can to then evaluate, was that a mistake, a worthy mistake or not? Do I have to come up with a different strategy or not? Or maybe I would just conclude, you know what? It's my bad. I didn't advertise enough, or my landing page didn't have the right copy, the right words, things like that. But I think as business owners, we all need to really, really come to a place of clarity where we feel good about what we do and believe that we can do it, that people want to hear from us, and we only need to be a few steps ahead of them. We don't need to have it all figure it out, just like homeowners don't have to figure it all out before they do their homes. We can be that person too. One post at a time, one product at a time, until we realize this is the path.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a group coaching membership where I help the women and we do group coaching throughout the month. And just this morning, one of the members of my membership, she had said 2 things that were very significant. I felt like one was that she finally is realizing that it's the small wins and giving herself the permission to be excited and congratulate herself for those little things, even if it was just a phone call. Even if the phone call doesn't lead anywhere, she got the phone call. So obviously her marketing's working correctly somewhere. Yes. Like learning how to be grateful for those small things. Because if we're not excited and thankful and grateful for those small steps that are working, we're going to stress ourselves out so bad that nothing's going to feel worth it. And then the other thing that she was talking about was, she said, she goes, I forgot how much better I feel after I come back to these group coaching sessions compared to when I'm listening to everyone else. And then I come here and I remember, because I'm of the mindset that it's asking them the questions. It's figuring out for them what works. It's the same thing we've been talking about this whole episode. But the point being is the fact that she got to take a moment and be like, you're right. Like, I am doing good. I should be excited about what I'm doing. And the fact that she felt better is all that we can ask for, right? For any of our clients, whether it's interior design, organizing, coaching, doesn't matter. If our clients are happy, that is a success. And whether it could be the smallest little thing. Like, I had one client one time, I brought her a smoothie on the way to the session. She talked about it for days. Had nothing to do with the organizing, had nothing to do with, getting her home organized.
Yeah.
Just the fact that she felt seen. And so the little things, as much as we need to learn to, pat ourselves on the back for those small things, is also the little things we can do for our clients that are going to help us succeed in whatever industry we're in.
I agree. Well said. Well said. You just reminded me, why, when I started back into interior design, like I told you, I had this years that I didn't do interior design. I had a lot of what people call imposter syndrome. I had a lot of negative thoughts, thinking people are going to say, like, what does she have to share with us? Like, is she an interior designer? I didn't know that. Or her house is not perfect. Why is she talking to us about interior design? I really had to do a lot of mindset work where I had to just try to ignore those voices. And actually, they're probably not real. No one was telling me that. And if there were people saying or thinking that, they're not my people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not my people. And in fact, when I started posting on Instagram, I had other designers from my coaching group that we were following each other, and I was hesitant to post something because I thought I would think that they would think that those were too simple tips, or that, oh, why is she posting that? That's, whatever reason, whatever idea was in my mind. But I really had to come to this point in my life where I had to stop thinking, about what they were going to say. That I was not talking to them.
Mm-mm.
I talked to the homeowner who has no idea what to do with their homes. And those are my people that I really had to do a lot of work. Actually, doing lives, Instagram lives, really helped me. I do one a week, every Wednesday. Even if it's just my son watching, or my sister, or no one at times, I just go out there and I talk and I share. And it's given me so much clarity. And it really, really helped me identify my voice and realize that I do have a lot to say. And I have authority in everything that I share. But it really took from me, to put myself out there, to just say and talk, even when no one was listening, because that gave me the clarity, and I realized that's my message. That's what I want to talk about to people. So that I would encourage anybody to do that, even when no one's listening, because I bet that all your organizers have a lot to share, but it's that mentality of, perfectionism, what other people thinking, all those that are keeping us from really providing the value that we all have.
Yeah. And I heard it said the other day, and then we'll start winding down, but I heard it said the other day from actually one of my members said this to me, and I was like, go girl. Cause I had never heard that, but she said, quit thinking about your social media posts as how many likes did I get? How many this did I, how many this, that, or the other. Look at it more as it is your portfolio for your potential clients to come back and look at later on.
Bravo. Love it.
And I was like, yes, because when you do that, it takes all the pressure off. All of a sudden, it's not about how often that you're putting something out, or how many likes. It's not about all the pressure things. It's all of a sudden becomes, okay, what information can I put out that my potential client would find useful? And then that's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how we get on our own way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so tell us a little bit about like your freebie and your design school and like all the things you have going on.
Yeah. Thank you. So I have a freebie that I offer, anyone. It's 31 pages. It's a guide to accessorize your living room, which actually has principles to accessorize any, place in your home, any space. But that is really good for organizers too, because I talk about, about the artwork, how to make it. Actually, it's the SOS. It talks about the synergy, the orientation, like how to place things, and also the size and scale. So that's kind of my SOS format, but it gives a lot of tips on how to work with all these accessories, drapes, area rugs, artwork, accessories, and furniture layout. And it has a cheat sheet for cohesive design. And if you want to know more about all these design principles and how to help yourself, your clients, then of course there's design school. There are 4 modules. It's self-paced. So and the classes are short, 10 minutes long, because we all, our time is, precious to all of us. So I've made it this way. So it's digestible with small wins. And the great thing about the program is that you get coaching once a month. If you have any question, I call it designer on demand. So if you have a question, like last week, in my coaching group, the question was, I want a new coffee table. I have these options. Which one do I buy? And we just talked about that. And the other student was like, I'm painting my basement and I don't know what feature wall to choose. And we talked about that. So it's like having a designer every month answer your questions. And then we also have challenges that will move people along, tackling small projects at a time. I think it's a great, great resource for anybody who wants to know about design and decorating and furnishing without having to be having a degree in interior design.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm of the mind frame, anyone that listens to me knows that, I started as an organizer, then I got certified as a life coach. But it's because, in my opinion, the more tools I have in my tool belt, the more I can help my clients. And at the end of the day, that is what I want for them, is for me to be able to help them as much as I possibly can. And so, if taking design school is all of a sudden, okay, I at least know how to suggest a certain rug or where they should hang something, or that's just another tool in your tool belt as an organizer that you then have access to when you need to pull those tools out for specific clients.
100%. Thank you for adding that. Yes.
Well, awesome. So tell them where they can go to find you and get that freebie and all the things. I know I said it at the beginning, but we'll remind them again.
Okay, so you can go to designschoolforhomeowners.com. That's where you're going to find all the information about design school. You can follow me on Instagram is where I'm the most active, and it's interiors_by_Jessica. So interiors by Jessica. And in the link, you'll find the link to the freebie, the link to the school also. And you can join me every Wednesday where I talk about just different design tips and furnishing and accessorizing tips.
I love it. Thank you so much for what you're doing for everyone. And I love that you make it simple, because I'm all about simple.
Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.